Join Bev Lazar, spiritual mentor, Reiki master, psychic medium, with Shelly Greenlaw, doula, yogi, and intuitive energy healer. Two sisters walking the path of spirit to share their experience and advice in all things energy, intuition, and beyond. The Empath Sisters.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Empath Sisters. I'm Shelly.
Hey everyone, it's Bev.
So we have decided that we would like to talk a little bit, maybe woo-woo for you guys out there.
Yeah, it might. For
It
some of
might.
you, I feel like it might be like, wow, I'm
Right.
so glad you brought that up because I thought I was
Yeah.
going crazy. I feel like that's
Right.
happening to me too. Or you'll be
But
like, okay, you guys are way off your rockers. I feel like somewhere in that spectrum you might fall in.
that's why I said woo-woo.
Just a little out there, but
Just a little. But we thought we'd just talk a little bit about because it's kind of a topic a lot of people like to talk about and some people don't. But like Beth said,
Mhm.
you might think it's a little bit out there, but we just thought we'd just talk about it because we feel as a maybe not as a collective, but most of us are feeling that things are changing. And what I mean by things are changing, I'm talking like if you want to maybe go by Matrix, if you've heard of the Matrix or um
Timelines,
yeah, timelines, that kind of
timelines,
thing.
shifting, consciousness, new
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what terms some of you have heard, but even if
right.
it seems so out there for you, I just want to say that it's possible that this will just open up your eyes to seeing it possibly happening around you and maybe
Right.
didn't quite yet recognized it. That's
Yeah,
all.
or like just, like Beth said, like maybe not quite recognize, but at the same time, maybe you've noticed some things and kind of been going like, oh, that was
Hmm.
weird, or like having that thought of like what Beth just did. She was like,
Yeah,
that was interesting, or what have you.
totally. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you're awakening and you experience your
Yeah.
gifts, right? And you're kind of like, the brain goes like, did that really happen? And you're
Right.
like, well, I know that happened. How do I explain that that happened? Okay,
Yes.
this is kind of like some of these things that we're talking about is like, these things happened,
Hmm.
but the brain really can't still figure it out. So
Okay. For
normal.
example, like one good example is, when you place something somewhere and you go back to it and it isn't there anymore. And you go, I know I put it there. Well,
Mhm.
things like that. And sometimes they can reappear and sometimes they don't. So,
And some of these might seem like just on a bigger scale.
yeah. Yeah.
I would say it is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so anyway, seems out there.
Yes.
Maybe you've been experiencing it. I have a lot of clients lately that are I've recognized this. I'm going to talk about the driving thing
Mhm.
just but um I know that my clients have been recognizing this as well. I've seen this a long time ago and I was
Right.
like, okay, this is happening and more clients that are coming to my center are like they come in and like it was like the biggest job was just to drive to my center because of the
Yes.
traffic people. And I'm
Same.
like,
Same today.
yeah, right. And I'm like, I know I got you. Like, and then
Yeah.
we have this discussion about it, and they're like, you're right. Like, that is what is happening. Like, I just couldn't put my finger on it, but it was like, what is going on? Because
Mhm.
they're also recognizing it, but not really sure what. And I was like, wow,
Right.
I've seen this a while ago. So yeah,
Yep.
it's been so these are some of the things like we're gonna be
Talking
sharing.
about.
Yeah. We've had some experiences and kind of like things that are happening. And maybe it's just time to open up some people's eyes, maybe just to give you confirmation, validation to also things that you're experiencing too. And you know what? The more awareness you have, I think the better off we are anyway. So
Mhm.
if you aren't recognizing this yet, maybe you
That's
have the awareness
okay.
and that
Yeah.
you and that. I would
Mhm.
think that's maybe good, but But yeah.
Yeah.
So with the driving thing, I was saying to Shelly earlier is that I have recognized months and months ago that I'll just say for sure this year, that people I find while they're out there driving are completely, and I don't even want to use the word really distracted, because I know we've had distracted driving already, but listen,
Yes.
cell phone, all that, there's been that, but this is like on another level. This
Mhm.
is just not distracted driving. I feel like drivers are just not here. It's
Right.
like they are like in
I feel like
trance
yeah,
mode. They're like zombies. I don't know what term to call it, but
I
they're
call it
just
La La Land. They're
here.
just
They're like
not here.
somewhere else and not present. They are not
Yeah.
grounded. They are not here. They are not paying attention. And it is literally, it's so frustrating and scary and crazy all at the same time.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
feel, because it's like, wow, it's so crazy, but there's so many, like everywhere I'm going, it's just every day, and I'm almost to the point where it's like I don't even want to go anywhere. I don't want to drive anywhere because I have to be super aware
Yeah.
of like everything.
Yep.
And even as aware as I am, I already got hit last week, so it's like it
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that was fine, so it's really nothing I could do about it. But
Mhm.
but yeah, it's I've recognized like clients coming in saying, oh, you know, almost as if they had just went through like a rat race and then just finally made it, you know, and they're
Mhm.
there at the destination and are just like, whoa, like what just happened?
Yeah.
That was so crazy just to get here. And
Mhm.
yeah, and I'm just like, yeah,
I
are you
just
yes? Did you have that today?
I literally had a client just before we met right now. So I'm in my office. But seriously, the client that just came to see me just earlier said the same thing. She was like, why is it every time I come to your space,
Yeah.
I'm in some kind of traffic thing? And I felt the same way. I said, oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't know how to say this because I don't really, I mean, I know a little bit of what we're going to talk about tonight or today, but at the same time, I was saying to my client, a lot of it is too, like, especially when you are aware, maybe not like, you know, what like Bev said, like some people are not present and just not conscious of what they're doing. But my client is aware,
Mhm.
and she, was like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Every time I come to your place, like something happens at the traffic stop, and she gets really like frustrated. And I said to her that honestly, it might be something that you're missing, like that she's missing, right? Like there's a lesson for her to learn out of this, maybe not necessarily because of the people, but I will say, I did say that. I said there are people that are in La La Land, they're just not paying attention.
Here. They're not here. I'm sorry. I
No.
think people checked out.
Yes.
I'm just say it. I just have this feeling. It feels like people just checked out. And I'm like,
Yes.
where did you go?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you go from a few people, like I said, before it was distracted driving.
Yeah.
It's not distracted driving. This is like
No.
check out. I'm
Yeah.
not here. Don't
Yeah.
want to be here.
I don't want
Don't
to talk to anybody. Don't want to be
I
in
want
it.
to
Like,
talk to anybody.
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even know where I'm going. That's the
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
It's like you should not be in your car. That's just my nice.
I know, right? Yeah. We're trying to be nice, but at the same time,
I'm
it's
trying to
like
be
it's
nice.
scary. It's
It is
scary on
scary.
our
It
end
is
though.
scary. It's scary for everybody,
Yeah.
especially for them. Like, I don't know if they are paying attention. It just
Mhm.
seems like they are checked out. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the lesson is just like when you get into the vehicle, how present are you?
Yeah.
You know, like that would be the lesson, is just like, how present are you?
Mhm.
Make sure
And if
that
you're
you're taking,
not present,
you know where you're going. Yeah. Like, you know, just give yourself some time to like
collect
collect
yourself.
yourself, know where you're going, have your plan, and
Yeah.
then go for it. But I don't know. It's just been, and I'm sorry to anybody if this offends anybody, and that's not my intention, but it's like
Yes. No, it isn't.
it is just so crazy to me. And I don't know if you're all experiencing that as well, or you're starting to notice it. And like I said, it's just different than distracted driving. It feels so different.
Yeah.
That's just
But
the thing.
I feel like it's not even just driving though. If you really think about it, like I know that it seems a lot of it, like right now we're in the driving, but at the same time,
Mhm.
like I've noticed just people in general, like if we're going somewhere,
Mhm.
and you're talking to people, they look even checked out,
Mhm.
like there's some people that are just staring at you. And yes, they're in the conversation with you, but
Yeah.
they're not listening to you. They're just like not,
Physically there.
no,
Yeah.
which is, I mean,
It's just weird. I don't know
yeah,
what's happening. Sorry, as what I do for a living, I'm saying I don't know what's happening. I could
yeah,
probably go into some conspiracy theory. That's probably what it would sound like, but I'm not
yeah,
going to.
yeah,
But because then I would just be making up something, and I don't do that. So it's
no,
like all I'm doing is just pointing out what I have been experiencing and noticing. And I
mhm,
also have people who are also experiencing, witnessing the same thing. So it's just
right.
like, are you also experiencing this? And Shelly was like, yes, as a matter
I
of
am.
fact, I am. I also have clients also who are saying the same thing. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe we need to talk about this.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
it's so,
like I can, maybe for you
yeah.
guys out there listening or watching, um, this might be a little bit, like I said, it could be a little out there, but again, I want to talk about a little bit about, timelines or
Mm.
shifting or matrix, if you want, if that's what you want to call it. But like something did happen to Dwayne and I, my husband and I, and we were driving. We had a truck, and we have now since then we have traded into a car. But anyway, we had a truck, and one day Dwayne and I were driving, and I just happened to look over it. Like I'm a time person. I don't know why. I just am. I'm a very much of a time person. Um, I literally call my kids on their time of birth. I'm just a time person. So anyway, I was looking at the clock, and I happened to notice that the clock was wrong. The time was wrong. And I remember going to Dwayne and saying, honey, I'm like, that's not even the right time.
Yeah.
Because I showed him on my watch, because I was wearing my watch as well. And I said, it's not even the same. I'm like, look. And he's like, that's weird. So
Yeah.
we
It
get,
wasn't like a daylight savings time change. It was
no,
just
it was
minutes, right?
just minutes. Yeah. It was actually, to be exact, 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes
And
ahead.
it was 5 minutes ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we were like baffled, because we're just like, how could it be 5 minutes ahead when everything in this world electronically
Yeah.
is the same? Usually, I mean, yes, you can be off by a minute,
A minute, but and then
you're
if it
not
a vehicle or electronic that does this
like the
automatic,
automatic.
it goes by the hour and not minutes.
Right. And so it was sort of weird to see
Mhm.
5 minutes. And it was like, 5 minutes. It's so bizarre. So we drive home, and we get to the house, and we turned off the vehicle, and we turned it back on to just like not turned on, just to the, I don't know what you call it, like when you just click it and it brings the
Oh, I
power
understand
up.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we look at our settings, because we're like, well, maybe something's off, in our settings. And sure enough, yes, it shows that it was not automatic. Um, like on the daylight savings thing, like where it says it automatically changes, when the time changes or wherever,
Which
even if you go in
again,
provinces, stuff
if
like
only
that.
been an hour,
Right. It would literally be
5 hours
hours,
behind, it wouldn't have
not
been a minute.
minutes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I change it to the time that it says on my watch.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, we're good. We go into the house. So next day, I go to work, and I hop in the truck. I turn it on, and I went, what? And now
Yeah.
the time shows 5 minutes behind. And I'm like,
Let me really
what?
screw with you. Like
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes behind. And I went, the hell? I'm like, what is going on here?
It's like,
But I didn't do anything
you want to
because,
be on, Shelly?
right? And I was like, I literally was like, what the hell is going on here? I don't understand why this is happening. I'm like, I changed it already. So why is it behind now when it was ahead? And we were at the right time. I'm quoting
Yeah,
with my fingers in the air if nobody's watching
yeah,
this. And
yeah.
so I'm just like bizarre. It's just it was bizarre to me. So anyway, I couldn't do anything about it because I had to get to work. So I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna get to work, shut the vehicle off, go to work, do my thing. And then I get back in the vehicle and it's the right time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I
What?
literally sat in the truck,
You're like, WTF?
literally sat in the truck and was like, what is happening? Like,
Yeah. Well, you went on
and
regular time. You went ahead, then you hopped overnight backwards,
back 5,
and then finish work, and then you go back to
back.
regular time.
Yeah. And
I-
I literally, I am not, I know my husband really hates the word literally, people, and I say it a lot, but I'm
Oh yeah.
saying it again. It,
It just reminds me when Shelly was here. He was like, you guys say literally a lot. And we're like, what else do we say
and
other than
I go, actually,
it's like, oh yeah. So sorry if we say
sorry.
literally actually too much.
Yes,
Or
sorry.
like is too, yeah. Sorry if we say
Yeah,
like too
so sorry. So I'm just
much.
warning you because my husband really does say I say it way too much. But I will say literally, I got home and I was
Did you
mind
actually?
blown. I actually got home and it literally blew my mind though, because I remember
Yeah,
getting home and I said to Dwayne, I'm like, remember that it was
yeah,
5 minutes ahead and we fixed
yeah,
it? And he was like,
yeah.
yeah. So I explained to him what happened that morning and he was like, he literally,
What?
he was like, what? And I go, yeah. So I'm really confused right now. I don't know what happened to that 5 minutes of ahead and back, and now we're normal. So that's what I'm talking about. Even Bev was talking about what's kind of what we're talking about for like time shifting or matrix or whatever. So that those things do happen. But again, that was 5 minutes. So there are people that will lose days, or
Mhm.
hours of things. And
Yeah,
it's hard to explain, but it is hard to explain. Do you know what like
it is.
ah,
It is hard to explain the timelines, but what I would say, if this makes no sense, all I could say is that shifting timelines is, maybe you've heard that we're shifting states of consciousness, and
mhm.
maybe we're shifting into a new earth. Maybe you heard that term. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
those things, which is true. We are shifting timelines. We're shifting into a different state of consciousness. Earth is shifting into a higher state of consciousness, which most people are referring to as 5D, which it refers to the spiritual dimension. So this is why Earth is in like the 3D, and
Mhm.
then we're shifting into 5D. So we have
Right.
to go through 3 to 4 to 5. So lots of things are like shifting consciously. So even if you think about Shelley's story of the 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is like, this is part of those like shifts that are
Right.
happening. It feels literally like things, again, using that word literally, it feels like going from, I feel like there's many times, and I just was using this example to Shelley earlier, is
Mhm.
that on Monday, I had, it sounds crazy. I'm gonna tell you this sounds crazy, but it it blew my mind. And it's like
Yeah.
Shelley's minute story. Okay. And so
Mhm.
Monday, I am getting ready for work, and I just happened to look down at my arm for whatever reason. On my left arm, I looked down and I saw like I don't know, it looked like a freckle,
It,
like maybe a bigger freckle
oh, okay.
mole.
Was it
It's
like a
not quite like
birthmark
a mole.
maybe?
No, no, no. I don't know. They kind of look like my,
Like a strawberry one?
no, like the brown ones, but just a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I have freckles, but some of these are, or maybe like sunspots. Maybe some people call them
Yeah.
sunspots. Maybe that would be a better term.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I have them on my arms, but this one I noticed, which I would have noticed before. But anyway, so I looked down and for whatever reason I noticed and I went, oh my gosh. Because to me, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I'm seeing this. I've never seen one that big on my arm ever to this date until then. And when I looked at it, it was like purple. Like it was like
Right.
to the point where you're like, oh, that doesn't look really good. You should
Mhm.
probably go get a doctor to look at it. So that to me was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't see this before. Where did this come from? How did this just like happen overnight? Because that's literally what it felt like in my mind. I was like, this had to have just come overnight because like I'd been like to the pool. I had been like, I've done so many things.
Right.
I put lotion on my arms. Like it
Mhm.
should have seen it. Anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh. Then in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go see the doctor and he'll probably want to biopsy this. But then in my mind, it was like this visual that I had, and I heard it at the same time of my vision. And it was like, yeah, but if you just scalpeled real thinly underneath of it, you wouldn't have to go see the doctor and it would just be gone. And then I was like, yeah. But then I was like, wait a minute, that is definitely a thought I would never have
Nope.
because Shelly knows I would pass out. I can't handle
There's
blood.
no way you would.
Pain.
There's no way.
So literally, I said, Shelly, could you imagine, Shelly, if I had this like little scalp? I'd be like, oh, I'd pass right out. It wouldn't even happen. So I was like, well, that's so strange that I would hear that and see it in my mind's eye. It was
Yeah.
so clear. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's so weird. And so I just carried on through the day, packed up my stuff, went to work, worked all day. And then I got home, I made supper, and we were having supper at the table. And I said, Shelly, I remembered that I wanted to tell my husband because I wanted to be like, did you notice this? Like, how come you never
Yeah.
said it? Because I would have probably said, honey, you should probably get that one looked at. That's
Exactly.
how bad it looked, you guys. And so I went, oh, honey, I forgot to show you. I found this. And I'm looking and I started to look like a crazy person, whatever that looks like. But so I'm like, I'm literally looking at both my arms going like, no, I saw
Where
it
is it? Yeah.
It happened.
Yep.
Where is it? And exactly where it was, there is a white scar in the exact spot that it was in. And it's like somebody scalpeled it off and it healed. And I have this little scar. Like, I just looked at my husband like, he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't even know what is happening right now because like I was like, wait a minute. Just from the beginning of like how I found it,
Yeah.
what I saw and heard, the day went on,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was gone. So
Yeah.
something happened in my day. I am like, whether I got a healing, it's gone. A hopped timeline was like, oh, that timeline
Happened, but then it's
and then
exactly.
it's gone. I'm not gonna have that. So
Mhm.
maybe this sounds way out there for you guys, but
Yeah,
sorry, I don't know what's happening, but it's happening.
it's happening
Things are happening.
because
Hear other people
even exactly, and that's just it. It's like, I mean, if you guys have any experiences too, please let us know.
oh my god.
Seriously,
Please
reach out, send us an email,
Yes.
or on social media, whatever.
Mhm.
But it is true. There's things happening out there, and as soon as Deb told me about her story, like I immediately went, oh my god, something else happened to me too. Because
Mhm.
but I didn't have I didn't notice, like if there was something there. But what I did notice was that I have a new scar on my arm too, and I had never had it before. It's so white that that's how it made me look down, that I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's like it stands out to you. It's like,
Yeah.
know my body. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm very
Well,
familiar with my body. I know all my marks and my
me
all
too.
the things. I'm just like,
Exactly. And like I was saying to Bev, like I have tons of scars. Like I'm full of them. And I
Mhm.
know that I have a lot of them. But
Yeah.
this one really stood out because I was like, wow, it was so white.
Mhm.
Like it was almost like, when you go for a tan and you miss a spot from
Yeah. It's the
putting
white spot,
lotion.
like your glasses, your sunglasses to your face. It's like, it's white.
Yeah, right. That's how bright it is on my arm. And that's why I noticed it, because it was like, what is that?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like Bev said, things are happening. Maybe you're not noticing it. Maybe you are, but
We'd
seriously,
like to know.
yeah.
I'd like to hear, because what I also want to mention is when I saw that mark and like how
Mhm.
purple it was and everything, I
Yeah.
even scratched it. I rubbed it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
what is this on my arm?
Right.
Because it's just something else, because I've
It's
never
so
seen this
amazing.
before. But no, that's why I went really close to it and was like, oh my gosh, this looks like one of those melanoma spots. Like I should definitely
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Crazy. So if anyone wants to see the scar, if you ever come to my center, I'll show you, or you're around me, I'll
Yeah.
show you the spot. And I
Yeah.
was telling Shelly, I had a similar experience last year or the year before, whenever I had my big, huge like death and rebirth. I can't remember what
Right.
year that was. Not last year, the year before. So what, 2021,
Yes.
when we went to Jasper?
Right. 2021.
Mhm. So
Right.
after, yeah. So yeah, because it wasn't last year.
Yes, it was.
No, couldn't have been last year. I didn't see Keith last year.
Yeah, we did. We went to Jasper in 2022.
Okay. In 2022, when we went to Jasper, so that whole time I had a death and rebirth, which
Yeah.
is somewhere in our podcast stories. I had like severe pain in my right ovary. I mean, this is TMI for people, but seriously, that whole story is incredible. And I literally was stressed out about it. I couldn't see my doctor for a long time. Got moved, and I was worried about it. 3 months of severe pain, and I was like, oh my gosh, this can't be. It was scaring me. And then just before I'd seen my doctor, my gynecologist, and I had recognized a mark on my body after I had checked. And I thought, what the heck? Like, and it was over
I
my right.
remember.
And I thought it like, there's no way I could have scratched myself like that. I would have felt that. And I was thinking, how could I have even have scratched myself there?
Yeah.
And when I looked close at it, it was red and it was perfect, like an inch long, perfect line, like a laparoscopy cut. But yet when I looked close at it, the skin underneath, it wasn't like it was a scab. It was just a really red mark to like look like I had laparoscopy there. But underneath of it, my skin was fine. There was nothing that was opened. And I was like, that's weird. So whatever. So that cleared, and I have a little scar there now. But then I saw my doctor like 5 days later, and everything was fine. Even had an ultrasound, and everything was healthy, normal, great. And everything since then has been completely normal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but like this happened after I had, like, as soon as I had that death and rebirth. That is also something that was on the physical that I noticed, but then also had physical change.
Right.
So that happened last year. This happened on Monday. And the lady that hit me on Tuesday is in the Matrix for sure. And is just not here. And it's like, oh my gosh, so things are just feeling like a little bit crazy. That's just how I feel. And I don't know what crazy it means to anybody, but it just feels so out there, different.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe not crazy, but like, yeah, out there, different,
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I say crazy is because the state of the mind that it's at. And I say like the consciousness of my mind is like, oh, it can't comprehend anything beyond.
Right. Yeah.
The analogy I use is saying like the conscious mind is at like 23.7 radio frequency. But can't possibly hear any other music that's playing any other time. It can't pick up on it. It doesn't understand it. It only listens to that music. So anything that I'm experiencing beyond 23.7. So if I'm experiencing a frequency way up to 267.9, it's like,
it's like, whoa.
It doesn't understand it because it can't.
No.
And so that's what I feel like is happening. But I'm extremely aware of like, wow, this is beyond even the frequencies that I pick up on. The things that are happening feel like beyond that. And that's why for me going, that is amazing. Like, I don't even know what is happening, but this is like
Mhm.
something bigger than
Right. Absolutely.
that would be the
Well,
best.
it's like what you said in the very beginning of this episode. It's like an awakening, except,
Mhm.
it's just it's no different than like if someone like us, I mean, we
Yeah.
went through this when we were younger even,
Mhm.
we when your brain, like when we used to see spirits or whatever, it would be
Mhm.
like, whoa, like our brains would
Totally.
be like, Did you see that? Like, did you really see that?" Like, you just can't comprehend. So that's basically, same with your analogy, what you were just saying, right? So
Well,
um
yeah. And it
it's exactly like that.
might have scanned and picked up that frequency. It saw it, but it didn't understand it. It's
Right.
like, we
Mhm.
don't listen to that music,
Right.
but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
but on the contrary, you do.
Well, and there is one little thing that I remember that blew my mind
Mhm.
this year was when you were telling me about the song Queen, or
Oh,
sorry, the band Queen,
yeah.
and the song We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like not funny, but it is funny because you told me about it and it blew my mind, and now people are talking about it again now, and I'm
Yeah.
going, I already knew that because of our discussion, but at the
Yeah.
same time it's just like it is starting to blow other people's minds and go, whoa, because they are talking about it. And so what I'm talking about is Bev said to me, "Remember that song, We Are the Champions by Queen?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you know how they always say, "We are the champions, we are the champions
Mhm.
of the world" at the end. And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah." She's like, "It's not on there no more." I was like, "Yeah, right." She was like, "No, seriously, listen to it." And I have the song. I also have the CD. And I listened to the song and it didn't say it at the end. So, but on my CD it does. so,
Ta-da!
yeah. So that is another thing too, just to kind of like,
Yeah. They don't want you to be
you
the
know,
champion. Like,
no. So,
they want you to think that you can do anything, be the champion. It's like, no, it's gone. It's just like, done.
yeah.
You're the champion. Ta-da, over. And it's like, ah.
Mhm.
And like,
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if you listen to it, and you can't find it anywhere unless you have
Right.
an
Unless you
actual
have an old,
original from a different timeline,
that's right. And that's what I'm talking about.
record or something, but not any of the new ones. It's
No,
not there. You won't
it's not.
find it.
You will
And
not
if
find it.
you do, you're lucky. Or maybe you're
Yeah.
still in the timeline.
That could be. And on that note,
If you do, this
so
probably
that's
just sounds
something
like
for you to
the
ponder.
craziest podcast I think we've probably put out there. So sorry.
Eh,
But you know what? These are conversations I literally have with so many people, so many clients, with
mhm.
my students. These are the talks that we are having, and
Yeah.
not conspiracy. It's there
No, it's just there. Yeah.
happening, and people are experiencing the same thing. Um, so yeah, I don't
That's
know.
how we try and talk about it.
We just want to talk about the things that are out there.
Yep.
So
But if you have any experiences, please let us know. We would love to know.
yeah, we would really love to know. I would love to hear other people's shares. And if you
Yeah.
have some, please reach out to us, because you know what? We would
Yeah.
love to have you on here and we could talk
Yes.
about it. If you feel
We
comfortable,
totally could. Yeah.
love to have you on here, and let's have a discussion about it or talk about it. And if you don't feel comfortable, if you want to share your
That's
story,
okay.
want us to share it with others on here
We
without your
can.
name or anything, we can do that too. So please reach out to us on our social media sites or email us.
Yeah.
Um,
Empathsisters
excited.
at gmail.com.
Oh, I'm just excited. Please reach out.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. Please reach out.
That would
Yeah.
be amazing. But yes,
Yeah.
it's been happening. It's a little
Mhm.
crazy. That's what it seems like. It's only crazy because it's something the mind doesn't comprehend. But it's actually amazing.
Yeah.
Even like the healing that I had on my right side here. What happened with this melanoma looking spot that I had? I mean, to me, yeah, that could be crazy quotation.
Mhm.
But to me, actually, like, that is amazing. And it's just our wording. And I think people just need to shift their words as well, because I do believe in like healing ourselves, and I do believe in these things that can happen. And I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that that is possible. It's amazing that it happened. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
So
I think it is amazing too. I honestly do. I think, well, it's not even just that. It's I love listening to other people's stories because like we have amazing stories too, and we all do. And so, like Bev said, it's just, yeah.
they're amazing. So if you do
Mhm.
have an amazing story,
Yeah.
and we won't call it crazy. It's just what the brain does. The brain can't
Yeah.
comprehend, calls it crazy. It goes, whoa, that's so
Yeah.
crazy. But you know what? It's actually like, wow, that's so amazing.
Exactly.
Those stories
Yeah.
are really amazing. So Shelly and I have had many amazing stories in our lives. And so those are the ones that I'd love to hear. But I'd love to hear, well, we would love to hear if you have
Yeah,
had
we
any
would love. Yeah, definitely. So,
along these lines. Or maybe
yes.
you also knew about Queen or the Queen song or any other things. I heard something
Yeah.
about the Berenstain Bears too.
Yep.
Bernstein and Berenstain.
Yep.
Apparently that changed. I don't know.
Oh, there's so many. So many.
Yeah. Like,
But anyway, we're not going to go there.
anyway, we will leave you with that.
Yes. Yeah.
You can go
Yeah.
down that rabbit hole if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And don't trust everything you find on Google either. Just saying.
that's true. That is
Right?
true too.
You don't know.
No.
I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah, it's true. True.
Fair. It's just
Yeah.
fair.
Very fair.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's been really cool.
Yeah.
It's been a really neat experience. Just going through all of that and just seeing all that kind of happening around, and it's pretty neat. So thank you all for
It
listening
is.
to
Yeah.
our amazing stories.
Stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in with the Empath Sisters, listening to our maybe out there shares, maybe not so much, maybe eye-opening. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's just information shared, and we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support.
Yeah.
And we are sending you love, light, and gratitude wherever this may find you. And we hope you're all taking good care of yourselves. Take care, everybody.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.